Hello there, my fellow degenerates, and welcome back. It's your Queen of Enhancements, Jay, and I'm here with you for another video. So today I thought I would do something a little more advanced than just draw a picture and do a little bit of a comparison between wax-based and oil-based colored pencils. So I thought I'd go over each of them one by one and then give a little explanation and go from there. So the first pencils I have are Art and Fly oil-based color pencils, and they come in a pack of 120. And guys, I do not know if you are seeing this right now, but all of these colors are absolutely beautiful. Oh my god, if I could, I would marry each and every one of them. So with oil-based color pencils, they tend to be a lot more tougher in terms of their lead. I know it's not called lead, forgot the name of it. Basically, they're not easy to break, however, they are much harder to put down. So in terms of how they feel, I definitely love these because they feel really thick in my hand. They feel easier to grab onto, and the only thing is I can't read what the name of a color is, but that's with all color pencils. But with the barrel on the end, it does help me figure out what the color is. So it does work out. Overall, I do love these color pencils. I'll explain more about them soon. Next comes Prismacolor pencils. And these, I love them to death, but oh my god, I spent way too freaking much money on color pencils. I'm still thinking about it, and I bought these a year and a half ago. So brace yourself, but these cost me 99 freaking dollars. I got them at a Hobby Lobby in my town since it was the only art store available. And yeah, they were the only ones I could find in a pack of 72, which is the reason I got them in the first place. I did not get them because they were high quality, even though I heard a lot of good things about Prismacolor. I just got them because of the amount of colors. But these are a little more different than the Art and Fly, aside from these being wax-based color pencils. So these are much more fragile in terms of their lead, so they break easier. But they also do feel more thinner, lighter. They feel more fragile in your hand, even though I have dropped these pencils and the only thing that's ever broken was the lead. They don't have the barrel on it, but I guess with the whole colored pencil being the entire color, it should make it kind of easy. Overall, I would recommend, maybe if you want Prismacolors, maybe don't get them at Hobby Lobby at all. Maybe find somewhere cheaper, you know. Oh man, I still think about that so much. I'm eternally cringing inside. So I figured for this part I would do a bit of a comparison between the two. On my left would be the Prismacolor pencils, and on my right would be the Art and Fly color pencils. I thought I would do a quick sort of swatch of the two to give a bit of a comparison in terms of how they look compared to each other. Now, I will say when I was using the Prismacolor pencils, they definitely did feel very easy to use, if it makes sense. It went down very smoothly. It felt pretty chill in my hand. It was a little trickier holding it because it is kind of smaller. I think I like things that are easier to hold if they're bigger, but at least the colors, to me, they are vibrant, but at the same time they also kind of look more ghostly, if that makes any sense. They look like ghost pencils. But with the Art and Fly color pencils, they have an opposite effect where they do go down, but it takes a lot more oomph to really get to what I'm trying to actually do. But overall, they're still pretty easy to use. It does give me the color I'm looking for. If anything, I do like the Art and Fly colors more than I like the Prismacolor pencils. With the Prismacolors, you could immediately already tell a difference in the swatches, where Prismacolor looks a lot more lighter. I like the vibrancy of Prismacolor, but in terms of the brightness, the more vividness of the color, I definitely like Art and Fly a lot more. But I mean, they're still both relatively easy to use, and they're both, I don't know how I would describe it exactly. They're both okay in terms of putting down. They both have their challenges though. At least, like I said, you can tell a huge difference between the two colors. If you look at the silver, with Prismacolor, it does look lighter, but with the Art and Fly, it does kind of look more like silver. And then with the black, you can tell with one key thing that you can essentially see teeth. You can see teeth in the Art and Fly. It doesn't go down as much, so it's a lot harder to spread, so the teeth show more. When you look at Prismacolor, you don't really see a whole lot of the tooth under the paper. But with Art and Fly, you could still, at least to an extent, vaguely see a lot more of the tooth than you would in the Prismacolor side. So next, I figured I would do a quick little comparison of blending two colors together and see what happens there. I can already tell you that this was a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be. And normally, I can do this stuff really, really easily. But when it came to using the Prismacolor pencils, like, with the colors, I really should have just gone with colors that would have worked even better. I had just assumed the light blue and the purple would have worked. And it normally would have, but the colors didn't exactly blend in the way I wanted it to. It didn't really mix well. Even if I went over it in different layers repeatedly, it just didn't really show very well. But there were still a lot more, it was still a lot faster to put down, at least. And I guess if you look at it, you can kind of see it working. I don't want to say it does work, okay? Because when I look at it, I think, wow, that did not freaking work. But overall, it's still, with a lot of just layering and repeated wishful thinking, I kind of could get it to a point where it did look okay. Now, when I did the Art and Fly side, like I said, it's a lot harder to put down on the paper since it's not as soft of a lead. So it was a lot harder to put down. I definitely had to put more, well, I didn't put a lot of pressure on it because I needed it to make a good gradient. But in terms of it just needing to just require even more layering and time just to get it to actually do what I wanted it to do, yeah, it still kind of sucked, but you know, it is what it is. It still came out really well. So overall, in terms of at least how they both came out, I would say Art and Fly came out a lot better. It was a lot harder layering and stuff, but the colors actually mixed a lot better together. And I would say, just because of a combination of a lot of things, if I'm going to be rating this based on color quality and just performance, I want to give Prismacolor a 6 out of 10. I would only say 6 out of 10 because it was way too expensive. It didn't really blend as well as I wanted it to blend. And it's just, maybe it was just the amount of colors that I had. It just wasn't, it's worth it. It's just not as worth it. However, Art and Fly, I would give a 9 out of 10. Simply because they have more to offer and it actually works. So next I figured I would just do a side-by-side drawing of the exact same picture, just using the different types of color pencils. So again, on my left would be the Prismacolor side, is what I'm working on right now. So in terms of just how this process came about, at least when it comes to making an actual picture with the Prismacolor, it's still, like, the coloring is still kind of difficult, mostly because I guess only with a pack of 72, I find it difficult to find colors that work. I know there's a lot of artists that say, oh, you should use less colors, less is more. I might be the opposite or the odd one out, and I will say I would prefer color to be as many as I can possibly have. It just gives me more options to work with. But at least when it came to like actually blending together, I did discover using the white color pencil for the Prismacolor actually helped a lot. Like, all I had to do was just use the white color pencil just to blend in the areas, and it blended so much better than trying to just blend it on top of each other. I mean, the coloring is still kind of off, but it increasingly does get a little bit better. But would I say I had a great time with them? And I mean, as good of a time as I could pretty much make a picture in like 30 to 45 minutes, and trying to actually contemplate if I actually used like the right color for this. But it took a lot of time and some elbow grease. But Prismacolor really does have some good qualities to it. Yeah, they are expensive, and yeah, they do break easily, but they really do deliver what they promise. You know, they give you that good color quality. They give you a lot of nice, like, opaque, unique colors to choose from if you're kind of going for something different. The picture actually does come out very, very vibrant, as you can tell, even from what I have so far. It comes out very well. I like it. And just like actually using the color pencils, it felt like I wasn't really using anything at all. Like, that's how light and airy it felt. That's how good and smooth it just felt in my hand. It felt, yeah, pretty much the way I just described it, I can describe it, is how the lady at Hobby Lobby described it to me. It goes down smoother than butter. It really does. Now, would I recommend you spend $99 on colored pencils? Absolutely freaking not. Like, maybe do it if you're like you rich and like you can afford that kind of thing, but honestly, I don't know if a Prismacolor would be like worth spending that much, especially just for 72 colors. Like, you're better off literally just buying like a very large thing of like Crayola colored pencils and like maybe a blending pencil. You'd be just fine with that. Next, I'm doing the Art and Fly oil-based color pencil side, and this one, I will tell you, definitely was a lot more work doing. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm an artist. I can literally sit for hours and work on pictures all day. However, I will say that it was a bit of a tedious process just to get the color pencils to really, really actually show up on the paper. That was really the only thing. Is it like, if I had used the same amount of like lightness and the amount of time I took on the Prismacolor side, on Art and Fly side, you would definitely not see the picture. It would not show up half the time. But other than that, like, I think I genuinely like the Art and Fly color pencils a lot more than Prismacolor, not only because of the fact that they were a lot more affordable. Like, I literally got them, like, I think on sale for like $40. So I consider that to be a definite steal. And again, there's 120 colors. Y'all saw all those colors. It's beautiful. There's a lot more options to choose from. It gives me more things that I could use to layer on top of each other to get the color I'm looking for. It's just, oh god, it's so beautiful. This is like the artist equivalent of having like a crush, I swear. But they just go down. They don't go down as easily, but the layering process, they layer a lot better than Prismacolor did. I didn't have to go in with a kneaded eraser to get rid of some parts that were like a little too not the right color I was looking for, basically. But yeah, okay. The time it took me to do the picture kind of sucks. It does. But, you know, it kind of gives me a weird sense of nostalgia, if that makes any sense. Like, it takes me back to when I used to use, like, Crayola color pencils or Crazy Art color pencils to create, like, pictures. Like, that's what it gives me. It gives me that you just sit there and you just scribble on your paper the entire time and you just make something, even if it looks kind of scratchy or airy. I kind of like the scratchy, airy feeling. It's like a childhood. It's a childhood sense of wonder that gives you a bit more of like a dreamy feeling. The Prismacolor side, yes, it's very vibrant, looks very like professional, but that's the thing. It's more professional, so it looks kind of like, you know, you're trying at something, you know. Like, you're trying to make something look good. You're trying to make something look as top quality as you possibly can. With the Art and Fly color pencils, I didn't really think about that. And this is what I got in the end result. Like, they both turned out very, very well. Yeah, Prismacolor turned out looking the best, but I do love how the Art and Fly came out. So, in terms of which one would I consider to be my favorite, as much as professional and as top quality and as just overall good the Prismacolor went down, there will always be a special place in my heart for the Art and Fly color pencils. But hey, I'm kind of curious of what anyone else thinks. Which one's your favorite? If you want, you could leave it in the comments. You don't really have to. But yeah, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you guys next time. And yeah, stay weird. Normal's overrated anyway. Alright, bye guys.